there's something freeing about putting that ball in your hand, just going to hoop. Yeah. Like Luka's like the guy, obviously. That's like when you play against him, like you can feel it. We're the most competitive group, I think. We've proven it over and over again. So we don't need any extra riff on that. I've outkicked my coverage in terms of dreams that I've imagined in this game, and still feel like I got a lot more in the tank. We're the hunter now, not the hunted, and trying to embrace that.
Are you the best point guard ever?
Welcome back to Gilbert Arenas, presented by Underdog Fantasy. Whoop, 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 whoop. We in here. So we out here on location in Baltimore, county. Got to make sure to say the county part. I don't want to get pressed by any Baltimoreans. But out here for the Curry Skills Showcase presented by Under Armour. Man needs no introduction. 4-time champ, Finals MVP, 2-time MVP, only unanimous winner in the history of the league, purveyor of our favorite bourbon, Gentleman's Cut.
Hello.
Yes, we on the cut, Mr. Big.
Damn.
In the building.
It's an opportunity to not have it right here.
And you can check out his new documentary, Underrated, on Apple TV. Stephen Curry, what's going on with you, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Thank you for coming.
This is how you come on the show. You're like a big fan of the show.
Oh, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Even though we talking a lot of shit.
So you beloved by Warriors fans. I'm going to say other fan bases, not so much. You tormented a lot of us. A lot of us still have post-traumatic Steph disorder from what you've done. But for you, what's it like being the most likable asshole, I'll say, in NBA history? And when you're out there cooking dudes, do you ever feel bad? Like, they have families, Steph.
That's a rhetorical question.
But they got families. They got significant others, loved ones, people who care about them.
Man, nah, it's interesting because like you've been on the stage for so long, obviously going into 15 years in the league, and all the amazing experiences that we've had, finals back and forth with, Cleveland, Toronto, Boston, West Coast, or Western Conference showdowns with all type of fan bases. That's what you want, right? You want to be in those conversations, in those arenas where you play in games that matter, and building up a little equity in terms of other fan bases' minds. But we've been on the other side of it too. So you get some, you take some, and it's all love at the end of the day. So I appreciate the position of being a likable asshole.
The most likable, I would say. I mean, once you pointed at the ring third quarter against the Celtics.
That was a little OD.
But at that point,
that was hostile.
We were all watching like, damn, this man, he literally told y'all, there's literally 12 more minutes of basketball left. And this thing is over. Like, all right, you got it, dog. You can have the cornbread. You got our respect. But let's talk a little bit. Everybody knows you for the offensive exploits, but the defensive side. Early in your career, guys used to hunt you. You're talking about Mr. B here. You find yourself on the wrong side of his 55-point performance as a rookie.
You got to splice in when he dropped me?
What?
You got to splice in when he dropped me on that same
game.
We
out of respect.
We
skip to it. But I think you really made a point over these last few seasons, an emphasis on the defensive side. So just talk a little bit about the steps you've taken on that side, and how do you improve as a defender in the league so late in your career?
I love the way you said I used to get hunted, like it ended.
I mean, not as much. They can try now, but they gotta respect you.
But I'm saying, so a lot of it was just understanding the value of just competing. I always had a try factor, like I cared about it. You just get better with reps and understand the little nuances of how to overcome a little bit of the physical, difference of what it is in the NBA, because that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. You gotta learn a little tricks. Like, I'm not the fastest, strongest, quickest first step type dude, so I have to understand floor spacing and shooting the gaps and reading defenses and being one step ahead to make up the difference. So that came with reps. And then you get into the situation where, look at the lineups that we had out there in big moments of the game. You got me, Clay. Our first run, it was me, Clay, Harrison, Andre, Draymond. You got defenders all over the court. They're obviously going to go at me and try to bring me into every pick and roll or put me in every action. So embracing the challenge of it, knowing that you're going to get scored on. It's the league. That's what we do professionally. But at a certain point, I'm going to get stops and make it's just difficult, or as much difficult as I can on whoever I'm going at. And then, like I said, the care factor, I think, is the biggest thing that turns you into a better defender, because you have to try, and it's hard. Like, you get tired out there, like you get bumped and bruised, and you got to play a little bit above your size. So just the care factor is the biggest, gas in the tank, I guess, in terms of trying to figure it out. And 15 years in, I'm still trying to figure it out.
I was telling him when he was coming, he was like, "How do you get better at defense?" And I'm like, "It's learning new tricks, understanding tricks, understanding behavior of what an offensive player do." For me, it was, I'm just gonna try to score on you. Right? I mean,
that's the best defense, though.
Because it was one of those things. I remember, with Kobe, it was more mind games, right? Yeah. So I remember I'm cooking, and then he's like, "Come guard me." Why? So you can put me in the post, beat on my body, and then I'm too tired to try to score. No. That's what we got the fitness for, right? So like when he said hunting, they don't hunt you anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't because you started scoring more, and now the older you got, you starting averaging 30. I'm less likely to want to pick on you knowing that you have that.
But like Ty Lue, who's given me a lot of props over the years because we've had a lot of battles, he makes it known, like, I'm trying to bring you in because I'm trying to tire you out. I'm trying to make you think about anything other than just scoring. So there's an intention behind it. And you also take it as like respect because of that, because you can score, because they're trying to, play the numbers game on that. Them trying to hunt you is a sign of respect too, because it's like we know it's in our best interest to try to wear you down, to try to distract you. So once you're in those situations enough, you kind of embrace it. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, ain't no willingness to just go run over there and switch on the Kobe. You got pride, but it's a different. Let's play smart basketball.
Best defense, great offense. Never seen a basketball game won with a score with 0-0. So at the end of the day.
But is that why your condition is like apex? Is because that that people are going to try to tire you out when you're on defense?
Yeah, just trying to master both. That's a good point. Yeah, because. That's the care factor of just trying, because you get exposed a little bit when you try to make that transition to becoming, like I said, a better defender, an above average defender, because it takes a lot of effort. And then you have to bring it on the other side. So that endurance is developed by focusing on both. I mean, we've all been in situations, us three, where you do know where to pick and choose your spots because you're playing 82 games, and if you're trying to play 35 plus a night, it's not like you're picking up 94 feet every possession. But when it's your turn to make the read, when it's your turn to fight over the screen, or switch and hold somebody up in the post, like, you're ready for those moments. And like I said, just don't be what's the matador thing? Like, just don't be that.
Matador
just don't
defense.
be that.
I had those days. I've had those days. Like, hey man, you got it, man. I gotta last the next 4 minutes, man. Coach said I can't get another foul.
So we out here for the showcase. We see you with the tough crowd.
Yes,
Curry
sir.
collab. Talk a little bit about how that happened. Y'all both came into the league together. Now y'all collaborating on fire gear that I can still get off even in my 40s.
That part.
But
I mean, I'll start just knowing. Brandon was the first signature athlete that Under Armour signed from a basketball perspective, and created the first signature shoe. Was a culture driver in terms of what the signature game was back in the day, and I was with the other brand at the time, and just kind of keeping an antenna on what was going on in the game. So when I made the switch in 2013. I wanted to become a signature athlete too, and it's been cool to be on that journey. And it's such a full circle moment to, be able to collab on what he's been doing, with Tough Crowd and really trying to infiltrate the market with amazing product and gear and storytelling. Like, now he's putting his fingerprint on the Curry brand, which is dope. Like, we got a lot of cool stuff coming.
Yeah, I think our relationships too. Chris Stone, Nick DePaula, Ryan Drew. All those guys that I've been knowing forever too. So it's definitely a full circle moment. We're actually the first two athletes to actually collab together.
That makes sense.
Huh? What?
Me and Dame with the shoe.
No, full collection.
Oh yeah.
I knew Gil was gonna respond like that.
I ain't touch clothes.
Yeah. We talking about the full drip. Full drip.
Love it.
Full drip. No, but I'm enjoying it, man. It is a full circle moment. We're dropping in 11-11. It's very, it's a spiritual moment for me. I know for him also, 11-11 means, stand in line, stand in the lane that God has for you, and it's been working. So it's gonna be dope. What they gonna say now, for real.
But count your days, other brands. Mr. B would like to say. So let's talk a little bit about the Warriors. Trade went down, ship and pull to the Wizards. You guys got CP3. Now, Gil, when CP3 came to the league, you worked out with him, helped get him right. When you were in college, you went to CP3's camp, worked with each other. Obviously, once y'all got to the league, Twister memes, things like that, the fake laughs with Steve Kerr. But now y'all are teammates. I mean, we still look at that Twister meme. I had to pull it up still just to go back down memory lane. But that's just a part of the game, competitive nature. I'm sure CP3 would feel the same. But now you guys are teammates. So how do you envision that working out, and how do you feel like that CP3 situation is going to impact team chemistry?
It's one of those things where you have a guy that just understands how to play basketball. He has elevated teams that he's been on his entire career, and even at this stage, like what he did in Phoenix when he's been there, I know they didn't accomplish the goal, but they were better because of his leadership and his ability to manage the flow of games. And so there's a lot of excitement that for us, like if we want to talk about strict X and O's, he connects a lot of lineups for us in terms of being able to help some of the young guys figure out, what it means to play winning basketball and be in the right spots. He's obviously a great leader in terms of his communication. Like he's going to get on you, he's going to, over communicate. And we need that in terms of, like I've already seen it playing pickup with him, him helping JK, just, how to help run the pick and roll, where to be at, giving him confidence in those type of scenarios. So that'll help us in terms of trying to be more cohesive. When I'm on the floor, when I'm off, me and Clay being able to run off the ball if CP's, running the point. We obviously have a lot of questions to answer in terms of who's starting, who's finishing, and that'll play itself out. But at the end of the day, we all, I think, are motivated to win. I'm sure nobody more than him, and for us to know exactly where, we feel like we belong as a team. So there's a lot going for us in that respect to try to put all our energy towards that. There's going to be a lot of narrative and conversation again around, sacrifice and what that looks like when it comes to, there's only 5 guys on the court at a time. But I think we can all figure that out. So that's going to be our challenge at the end of the day.
His style looks like it helps, Kuminga and Looney a lot.
For sure.
Right? And it seemed like last year those are the 2 guys that really needed to be pumped up, and it seems like what he does great actually will enhance their ability a little bit.
I think a lot of it too, because like you said, it's just another guy that's comfortable with the ball, or more than comfortable with the ball in his hands. It gives us a different change of pace if the game slows down a little bit, and CP's one of the greatest ever in terms of running that pick and roll and dicing up defenses like that way. And if you put spacing around him too, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those 2 guys. Kuminga and Moody like take a step up in the sense of just figuring out again what it takes to play winning basketball. They have so much talent, and I'm excited just to see it all kind of connect because it's time to make that jump.
Iggy told us it made sense early, but the chip on the shoulder, what keeps what keeps it there?
I don't know. The way I've explained it is like from coming up playing AAU to college, like I had such I would say normal. It was like everything I got in terms of accomplishing things at the next level, I had to earn with the work, and then I kind of do it in silence a little bit because nobody was really worried about me on the national scale until the '08 run at Davidson, and so all the way up to my sophomore year, like I had to really earn everything because I was a late bloomer physically, like obviously the recruiting thing and the stuff that's in the documentary, but. That's all I've seen the game, so there's a gratitude that comes with it. And then, with all the accomplishments in the league, like there's a healthy insecurity that I have of like having to back it up every year. And so that drives me, in off-season workouts and just being confident that I still have a lot more to accomplish out there. And to be honest with you, I just love playing basketball. Like, no matter where it is, that helps, embrace the grind because, we've been doing this for a long time, and you realize how many games you played, how many hours you've been in the gym, how many miles you put on your legs. There's something freeing about putting that ball in your hand, just going to hoop. And so I still want to maintain that as much as I can. But that healthy insecurity is real, just because I've outkicked my coverage in terms of dreams that I've imagined in this game, and still feel like I got a lot more in the tank. So that's where it's at.
So talk a little bit about that. 35 years old, entering year 15. I mean, you look at guys like LeBron going to year 21. Do you have a target of where you want to play? You want to get to year 20? Is there a set target or goal you have right now for how long you want to keep playing this game?
It's somewhere in that range, but I think I never imagined myself being the 40-plus dude, like trying to hold on for dear life. But who knows what my body will look like or feel like at that point. So I got 3 years left on my deal, starting, including this year. So at least that, and then kind of figure it out from there. I am blessed to know and hope that, no matter how many years I do play, playing for one franchise and being a part of that group of the legends that have accomplished that feat and won at the highest level and all that. Like, I don't ever take that for granted either, because you got the Cobes, the Magics, Dirk, Tim Duncan, like those guys helped establish a culture. One did it with a lot of different roster combinations and different parts in their career. So like that's dope. But I don't really put too much of a timeline outside of my contract now, just knowing that'll give me 38 and 17 years in the league. It's like, sheesh. Just give me that. Just give me that.
Just play them next 3.
I ain't skipping to go play golf just yet.
Not yet.
Your 04, was it? Oh, no, 14-15 run, right? Mm-hmm. I was talking to ex-teammate Prof, and we was just talking about your shooting, right? And I was like, yo, how many shots you think he takes, right? Because I was like, so I said, Prof, you think he a better shooter than me? Prof was like, fuck yeah. And I was like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but but I shot I said, man, I shot a lot. How many shots? Like, he has to be triple me, and that's impossible. Like, do we sleep? So I was like, yo, call Ritter. I want to know how long he's in that gym. It just didn't make sense. I was like, I know I sit in the gym 3 times a day, right? I shot. And when I was watching, I was like, I can't do half the shit he's doing. Like, I'm looking at my shooting percentage like, fuck. This is crazy as hell, bro. Because this is like the stuff you were doing, it didn't look the same. You know what I mean? It didn't look the same, and I shot all the time. And I'm like,
I was like, could you even count how many shots you've taken in your career? Like, I was trying to do that exercise in my head, and like I know it's somewhere like past like 700,000. I don't think it's 1 million, but it's somewhere like there, and you just realize you put that on paper and like, that's a lot of shots.
I remember I did it a summer where I was like, it wasn't even a summer, it was 70 days. I was like, I'm shooting 100,000 shots in 70 days.
That's wild.
Right? Yeah. And nah. Like, I was watching you, I recorded your, that's a warm-up. Is that like your pregame warm-up?
That was a pregame warm, not that spot, probably a little less speed, but the amount of shots, yeah. And then all season workout, that's probably
first one?
30-40% of the workout.
Yeah, I was telling my son, I was like, yeah, you're in trouble when we get home. He wrote a capital. I am not Curry. But I'm looking at the speed, looking at it, and I'm like, there's just different levels, and unless you, and I was telling the kids behind me, I said, unless you see it, unless you see it with your eyes, you really don't have no idea.
So, Brandon's come to my camp last couple years, and that's like one of my favorite parts of the experiences. Either like last year I had him like sit down and watch that for like 20 minutes, and then this year I started working out before they came in, so when they came in I was kind of full go. And I think that, like you said, matching what they think is work to what the visual of, the level of the speed and intensity and focus that I do in my workouts, I had to learn that too. Like, when I was coming out of college, I thought I was working hard until I went and worked out with Edon Ravine, and I was, this is the pace, and you know how tired I am after this workout, and so that progression, you have to be open to it, and you got to expose yourself and be vulnerable. Like, all right, I'm here, I need to get here, and now how do I connect that? So when I do those workouts, like I know it's influencing a little bit to teach, you know, the next generation on the level that they need to be at, and just patience too. Like you got to work up to it, but that's where you need to be.
Yeah, everyone wants to be Steph, but you got to see what he works out like. I can't wait to get home. Yeah.
Film study.
Yo, so seeing your schedule, right? You know, I've been around you for a couple of times now. Like seeing your schedule, seeing your crew. You know, I just got to tap my head off to like everything that you do. Like I don't know when you sleep. Like I can't tell you like when you sleep. I think when we landed yesterday, you went and worked out. Like, you know, you went and talked to, like, how do you keep that balance with family, with the golf, with ball? Like, how do you keep that balance, and what keeps you going?
The theme of thriving chaos is kind of the life mantra, because there's ebbs and flows to what that balance looks like. You know, at different parts of the off season, obviously in season is totally different with our schedule and practice and the grind and travel and all that. And even like 3 years ago, thinking about what off season looked like versus now. So you just have to make sure, for me, to your point, your first thing you said is my team, right? Like the people around you, being able to be on that journey with you, learn the things that, you know, allow us to be productive, allow me to have the focus to be able to show up in the rooms I need to with the right kind of mentality, the right energy, still make sure I'm taking care of the main thing, which is obviously hooping and preparing yourself for the next season. But it's a learned skill, right? Like with everything that you do. And so as long as you're continuing to take the temperature checks on, like, are you able to present your best self in all of these different areas that are important, and they might look a certain way now, but they're gonna look a different way in a month, they might look a different way 6 months from now. You just have to keep reiterating that. For me, that's kind of been the secret sauce. And then I just try not to make excuses, man. Like, that's the biggest thing. There's times where you're tired and all that, but you know, I can figure out where I can get rest and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, look what we're all doing. Like, we're doing things we love to do. The way that y'all said when we sat down here and y'all like had that giddy energy, it's like, for real. That's how I feel in pretty much everything that I do. So if I can identify those too, it makes it a little easier to push through, you know, the craziness of it all. So.
So entering year 15, you've seen a lot of these now young guys, up and coming guys. Who do you feel like is the guy that's going to carry the torch and have an influence? Maybe not like you, obviously, with the shooting, all that, but going to have an influence on the game at a level like yourself?
I mean, it's a good question. Like, there's a lot of.
Or to say, like, who's his, like, favorite young guys?
Yeah,
it's just.
Like, who's going to be that guy that's going to now take this league into the next iteration?
The hard part to answer that question now is I didn't realize how young some of these dudes really are. Like, you forget, because I'm 35 going into my 15th year. Like, you got that crop of guys like the Lucas, Jason Tatum, and he's on the younger side of that, but they're still like in their mid to early to mid 20s, like, and still established. They've accomplished a lot of stuff, but runway is still in front of them. So if you look at like that crop of guys, I think they've kind of defined themselves as you know, the ones that are going to be on the stage every playoff run, trying to, you know, win the championship and, you know, chasing MVPs and All-Stars and all NBA teams and all that. Luka's like the guy, obviously, that's right on the precipice of accomplishing all those accolades and just, you know, what he's about as a player. And that threshold of, like, how do you just crack through? I hope it's not now. But it's like when you play against him, like, you can feel it. And so, yeah, I mean, you go through, you know, the roster, even like Trae Young, like a dude that, you know, who's been in the conference finals already in his career. You know, they're trying to figure out the right combination around him to complement, you know, what he brings on the team in terms of his leadership and his ability to push the envelope in terms of winning games. So, there's a lot of young talent, man. The league is in good hands in that respect. But like I said, I just hope it's not too soon, because we still got a lot to do.
So when you look at your team, you got 3 years left on your deal. Draymond just re-upped.
Yeah.
Clay's going to be a free agent next offseason if they can't work something out. When you just look at that Warriors big three crew, that unit, how much more time do you guys think you have left, and do you think you have at least one more title run left in you?
Yeah, we for sure do, and hopefully that's this year. I mean, the nature of the NBA, the business of it, you know how things change really quickly, and the fact that we've been able to, keep at least us three together. Obviously, Andre, for the bulk of that run, besides the 2 years, like that's unprecedented in terms of just three, core guys trying to, keep proving people wrong that we still have what it takes. So we're in that season again. Like we're the hunter now, not the hunted, and trying to embrace that energy. Like you said, Draymond was big to bring him back and lock him up for the next 3 years. Hopefully we can do the same with Clay when the time comes. But yeah, this year is the run, and then you reassess at the end of the year to figure out what's going to keep us in that conversation. Because I think the biggest thing is like the notion that you always want to be the team that everybody's going to pick. Like that's a good spot to be in. But if you're in that 6 to 8, group of 6 to 8 teams that legitimately has a shot in terms of the experience, the cohesiveness, the sense of identity of how you play the game. Like if you're in that conversation, you hope for health, you hope for people to continue to play at the level that they need to, and you get to the playoffs, and then it's just roll the dice, see what happens. And that's all we want is just a chance, and I feel like we got it this year.
So Ant said he wants y'all smoke and to turn Curry camp out 2018.
He did.
But he said he wants the Warriors smoke in the playoffs. Is he barking up?
Is that what he said because of Draymond?
Is he barking up the wrong tree though?
Because he
I love that though. I love that we got some real estate in the offseason in terms of people thinking about us. But yeah, I mean, we've handled that question plenty of times in terms of whatever the motivation is, whatever energy you're coming with. But that's why we're the most competitive group. I think because we've proven it over and over again. So we don't need any extra riff on that.
And the last thing I got.
Well, I got the last one.
Okay. All right, we're gonna give some gentlemen's cut love, Gilbert.
That's it. We'll talk about it.
Are you the best point guard ever?
Yes. I have to, yes. It's me and Magic. That's the conversation.
Yeah. Like it just. Because as we can look at stats all day, right? We can look at stats and try to judge. I wasn't around with Magic.
Me either.
I know, right? So
I have so much respect.
I know there's not a lot of 6'9" point guard. No one's trying to. I'm thinking about the '90s growing up. There was nobody trying to be a 6'9" point guard, right? I mean, it just. But I can witness and watch every kid trying to be Curry. You know what I mean? So it's like the influence that you really have on the game from the position as a player. I look at the stats and say, okay, Magic then Curry. When I look at the kids and I watch AAU, it's like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I have to answer it that way, but I really feel like, to your point, like Magic's resume is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so the fact that we're even having that conversation it's a place I never thought I'd be in. But the fact that, to your point of like how you grade it and the whole conversation, that's why we have the conversations, because it's fun and it's measuring errors against each other, and I love that's what basketball, that's what sports is all about. That's why people watch. That's why people get in heated debates about it. I love it. So you put me on my own team, I'm gonna rep myself for sure. But Magic, like that's a lofty resume to shoot for, right? So I'm still going. Let's see what happens. Come on.
I mean, it's point forward. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It's point, I mean, you know how you be cheating. It's point forward over there. We got the point guard right here. Like, I mean, it's good for me. Like, I used to believe in the old school, right? I remember I made a comment and said, and I don't know if everyone got it. I said, Curry is not top 5 point guard, but he's a top 5 guard. You know what I mean? And I said, because, growing up, it was like, your type of guard is not a point. So I was like, all right, cool, that's fair, right? Okay, so where we at then, right? Where we at then? So now when people say, all right, name your 5 point guards, and I'm like, all right, it's all scoring guards. Y'all can keep them assists to yourself, right? I need someone who has all the ammo. So I'm loving, the day that it's turned into, more of the guards that can do a little bit of everything. So
You have to now because that's how the game shifted. Like I'm saying, who's probably the last? Was it pure point guard? Who was the last point guard in that? Who it was like Rondo, like CP, like that group. Like even
Rondo.
Darren Williams was like kind of
hybrid. You have LaMelo, right?
he likes to get buckets too.
I know.
So it's a hard conversation because
It is. The game has changed.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Steph, we appreciate you, bro.
I know.
We appreciate you taking time out. Appreciate you to Under Armour. Also, Gentleman's Cut in stores now.
Yes, it is.
We were trying to jam you up. We
it
got to
is.
run, but we need to get that sponsorship. We was repping you in Vegas. We had Zion pull-ups, so with the unofficial beverage of Zion Williamson's unprompted pull-ups in Summer League, unofficially. But we trying to get that Gentleman's Cup relationship cracking. We got Mr. B as the official spokesperson.
Mr. B, yeah.
He could be like the Dos Equis dude for the hood.
Now that it's on shelves, we might have to update.
We're gonna get it going. But
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate you taking time and doing this, man. Big Gilbert Arenas coming to you from Baltimore county. I think they said they're gonna press me. The Baltimorean. They said this is not Baltimore, it's Baltimore County, but we out, man.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. With the honor call for greatness, the chosen of few, the carry the gift of genius, who do what they do, who possess finesse of blessed with desire is true. I'ma say it loud, none other than who? Some swear by Nikes, others love Adidas. Rappers be rocking crowds, I'd rather rock arenas. You may have a nice shop, you super set with the pill. Who made the zero famous? It's Gil.